There are so many people. There are so many people. It has been a minute since that happened. And now we're in order. Okay, cool. Well, welcome to the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where the tea is piping hot. And today we are ready to spill with a lot of people. There's a lot today. I'm Logan Murphy, just a gay, here as always with my very large cup, and very excited for tonight's activities.
Yes, and I am Lana, your resident diva, here to spill all the tea because I just love tea and I like it piping hot because that's what the cup stands for and that's what we do. I do have my cup. It's a very large styrofoam cup. Again, too lazy to wash dishes, so I'm going to do styrofoam. Sorry if you don't like that. I'm sorry, unless you want to come wash my dishes. But yeah, that's who I am, and I'm excited about tonight. We got a lot to talk about. And we have guests, so let's have our guests introduce themselves.
Hey y'all, it's Zina, the HBIC, and I still got the voodoo for you bitches out here, so don't ever forget.
Period.
Hey, I'm Phaedra. This is my cup. Don't look at my nails. I don't have them done today, but caught me on an off day. But I am ready to answer some questions, talk Penthouse, and just get this started.
My name's Austin. I have representing ASU. I went from first loser to last loser. Yes.
Not last loser.
Last loser.
Oh, yes. And we are here to dive into the unexpectedly dropped 4-episode finale extravaganza everything of the Penthouse season 4. It is over. Thank the Lord above. It all saw the light of day.
I mean, we were nervous for a minute. We didn't know we was going to see it. We didn't think it was going to get to this point. But lo and behold, thank you, Jesus. Thank you to the reality T gods that we got every episode, and we finally have gotten to this finale point. We know who our winner is. We know who our finalists are. We know everything, and we're ready to talk about all of it because it was a lot going on. And I'm ready to dive in. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about how we got to this point, how you all, made it, the journey you took from the beginning to the end. What was your thoughts, your experiences, your emotions, everything. I want to know it all because I've never actually got to interview anybody who's been on a show before, so I'm excited to do that. So, period. I want to know it all. So, if one day I decide I want to do something like this, y'all can tell me yes, do it, or no, don't ever in your life do that. It's not worth it. So, let's talk about that. Let's start from the beginning. What was your experience like? Was it what you thought it was going to be when you signed up to go in it? We'll start with you, Zina. Going in it, was it like what you expected it to be, more than you expected it to be, or not at all what you expected it to be?
I thought it was a lot more than what I had expected. I knew there was going to be drama. Of course, we're on a reality show. Mm-hmm. There's 18 people in the house. Of course, there's going to be a little bit of a tussle here and there. Mm-hmm. But not at the caliber that it was. We could probably all agree on that it was, some stuff got blown up. And I wasn't prepared for it. But I guess that's reality TV for you. You never know what's going to happen.
Okay. Phaedra, what about you?
Well, my thoughts going into it, I was like, yay, this could be like, something fun. And then while I was on the show, I was most of the time, okay, because if I'm being honest, I'm not really involved in the community of like gaming. I've never heard of a game like this before.
Mhm.
So I was genuinely confused the entire time I was on the show. And like, for example, when I voted for myself and Nick blocked my vote, I had no idea what was actually going on. Like, I was sitting on the couch like, oh, yeah. But I really had no clue what had just happened. And I think, like, I don't remember who explained it to me, but maybe Jada, but someone sat me down and they were like, yeah, Phaedra, this is what's happening. And I was like, oh, I was just genuinely confused. And yeah, so that's really
I love that so much.
Yeah,
That's yeah, super refreshing to hear. So you like, I had no idea.
Genuinely.
Because like talking, like if you've been in play games before or play games for a while, you start getting people who's like, oh, I know it all. I've done this. I've been there, done that. This game's like this game, and this game is like this game. But when you get somebody who's like, look, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm genuinely confused throughout the entire time I'm doing it. And even when I made a move that people were like, why did you make a move like that? You're like, what are you talking about? I just did what I did. And that's so refreshing that you said that. And it's awesome. Austin, now you played and hosted and done some things. So what was it like for you? Was it what you expected or was it just like completely different?
I think it was what I expected. I think with Zina though, like, it definitely was a little more dramatized than I thought it was going to be. Like watching the first 3 seasons, no one came close to the stuff that we had to encounter. And yeah, I did not expect that. Like, still 8 months later, people would be purchasing plane tickets to, have people come and fight them.
Wow.
So, it's, it's been a lot, but it's, parts of it have been funny, parts of it have been really annoying.
Wow.
Again, we're just happy that this is finally on, like, it saw the light of day. We made it to this point where we can cap off, this entire journey. Because from the outside, I can only imagine how, peculiar the situation was. Let's use that word today. Yeah.
I like that word.
Right.
I would, in one word, it would be train wreck, is the description.
I mean, because why? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, see, I wasn't going to say that, but from the outside looking in, we were like,
Miss Lana, we have no clue what you're saying, my love. Oh no. Oh no.
Is a lot.
Oh no.
Wow.
We're keeping all this in, by the way. Oh no.
We're having.
Oh no.
The way is also delicious.
I know. We love technology. We truly love technology. We're gonna. Oh no. We're just gonna drop ourselves to 4 for a second, see if Miss Lana pops back on. Oh no, she's gone from the studio. Okay, she'll be back. Yeah, no, so it's been difficult as, reviewers and not knowing the whole story and, seeing bits and pieces of our story come together. My big thing was like, how much, like, from your perceived experience, how much of it actually translated to what was shown in the final edit?
I would say a good majority of it would probably say translated. I mean, because watching it back, I could definitely tell that like what was cut out. A thing that was cut out was when kind of like the Edmund and Laurel switch situation. That's the thing that comes up in my head. A lot of stuff was cut out of that because I remember sitting in the kitchen watching that all unfold. And then when I watched it back, I was like, oh, they did cut a good majority out of that. I don't know why, but because I thought they were just going to show the whole thing and not edit anything out, but they did. But there's situations like that, and then of course you have to like match people's storylines and everything, make sure like this person's storyline with this. So it's like I would say a good majority, but it's like still some things can kind of get misconstrued with kind of the storylines that they decided to go with, and then also like what actually was happening. Because also in the beginning, like it really looked like that I was like some game master, like in the beginning, I like going here and there, and I was like, I don't remember me. I was like, that was not my intention. Like, and it just kind of came across that way. So yeah, it is what it is.
You were killing it, the bestie. But yeah, it was pretty much everything that I thought it was like they would cover was covered. Yeah. From what I can think of. There was one really good confessional that I had about Mona that they didn't put in, but it's fine.
What was it, Austin?
It was about her like eliminating. It was either Zina or Laurel, and I was just like making fun of how everyone looked so shocked because it was so obvious that she was going to do that. But it was so good. But it's fine. Other than that, like everything was what I pictured it to be, basically.
Yeah. Phaedra, what about you?
So I haven't like seen a full episode. So I'm not really sure how it translated over.
Sure.
But I'm sure it translated over decently, as good as they could have. So yeah.
It's interesting seeing, the people that ended up in the end game, because given like the early episode edit, Zina, I honestly thought you would have made it further based on the early edit. I kind of figured, once Austin came back in the battle back, I kind of figured that like Austin was going to make it pretty far because again, like there were a few people on this cast that like I knew beforehand. Austin was one of them because, we're in this community together. So I knew that like Austin had the chops to make it far if he was able to get back in there. The interesting thing I will say is with you, Phaedra, because your edit this season is one of the most peculiar edits I think I've ever seen in a reality competition show. Because I can tell that you're an incredibly intelligent girl. Like we've had a few conversations here so far, and I can tell that you're an incredibly intelligent girl. The difficulty is your edit. Whether you were downplaying that, I'm not really sure. It also very well might be because, like you said, you were confused the whole time, which again I love. But it was interesting because your edit almost made it seem like you were playing into that, ditzy blonde sort of stereotype. And I don't know if you were necessarily, but the edit was interesting for a spoiler winner. It was an interesting edit, at least for like a winner in that regard. So were you trying to play down the whole, like, obviously because you're a law student and you're incredibly intelligent, like were you trying to play that down? Was that part of like your strategy going in?
No, so it's funny that you said that because first I actually had brown hair. Majority of my hair was brown, but no, honestly I don't know why they did that. I was just playing the game probably because I was really confused majority of the time. But I did just try my best to just be normal and act how I act. So I don't know why they did that. That is very weird. But no, I was not playing into anything. I really just was trying to be myself.
Sure.
I was going to say, even though me and Phaedra are both finalists, I know there was echo.
Yeah.
Even though me and Phaedra were both finalists, me and her, because we discussed this the night of, we had the smallest diary room confessionals.
Oh, really?
Because me and Phaedra are both the type of people that are like really chill. And everyone else was like nonstop, like complaining about their situation, like very emotional. And me and Phaedra just did not give a fuck.
Yeah.
So when we went into the confessional rooms, it was probably like midnight for both of us. And we just both wanted to like get it over with, basically. Like
Sure.
we didn't have like both me and Phaedra already had closure over the whole situation. So like we didn't have that much to say versus everyone else. So I think that also was the reason why. Because our confessionals were both like an hour and a half, like our sessions.
Mhm.
Right.
And then someone like Nathan, his was like almost 4 hours long. So it was just like,
Because
like
especially
even some of the people in pre-jury, like their confessional session was like at least 3 hours, and ours was like way shorter than that.
Yeah, Max was the first person to go because Jules didn't want to wake up like too early or something like that. So Matt took her spot at 6 a.m. and Max was like over 2 hours, and he was the first person to go.
That's interesting because Matt, like, loved Matt, and I think he played a great game, but wasn't like all that, you know, important in the overall story of the Penthouse season 4. He provided the entertainment, and like he's lovely and wonderful, but it's interesting that do we know who else's was like shorter or longer necessarily? Because now I'm kind of curious.
I think Mona's was like super long.
I believe
Right.
that.
Yeah, I think hers
Like
was long.
Nick and Edmonds, theirs was kind of long too.
Sure.
Yeah, I think Edmonds is really long.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Me and Phaedra were the shortest though, for sure.
I love that.
I'm so tired.
No, I believe it. I believe it. Yeah, so I mean, we can kind of dive into like the 2 episodes right before the finale. There's not really a whole lot to discuss because things seem to be pretty straightforward in those rounds anyway. I don't know if there's anything living it that y'all wanted to highlight specifically, but yeah.
Well, I just think the Julia elimination, because I actually watched that part when she got eliminated. She was sitting on the couch for like 10 to 15 minutes, like dead silent. Like she would not get up from the couch. And they edited that scene down. Like they made it seem like she was only sitting there for like 30 seconds, but she was there for like 10 to 15 minutes. Me and Phaedra were standing by the door waiting for her to get up, and she just would not move.
And it's so funny because like my face, I was just staring at her like, what are you doing? Because at the time in my head, like when she did all that, like that's cool, have your moment. But in my head, I was just thinking, what is happening?
Yeah.
Because the way, like, I don't know, I've never seen anyone do that in my entire life. So it just really threw me off.
Yeah, it was like completely like froze in time. Like she was just sitting there like just staring.
Yeah.
They totally cut that out. I think they could have made like a really interesting edit if they used that.
No, right. Because the stuff she did, it was really out there.
They could have crossfaded that 15 minutes of sitting on the couch. I personally would have loved a crossfade.
They could have used a SpongeBob like hour later edit thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah. And then I know Zina, we've seen that the phone footage that Derek took of like people walking into the jury house.
Oh my god!
If you want to go over that,
oh yeah, literally because it was only Audrey and Keaton in the jury house when I got there, and Audrey told me that Derek didn't really start filming people coming to the jury house until I came into the jury house, and I was sobbing. Like even on the car ride over, I was sobbing on the car ride over. It was just overflowing tears, and I got in the jury house, and Audrey and Keaton face were like, "Oh my god!" I left tear stains on Audrey's jeans. Sorry, Audrey, for leaving tear stains on her jeans. And I was kind of explaining the whole situation to them, and it was. And then I didn't realize it back then, but now it's kind of funny because like it's just Derek like in my face with the camera and just me sobbing. Oh, good times. But
I mean, it's good television.
It was
the best like phone recording is the one. Oh. The best phone recording is the one of Mona entering. Do you remember that, Zina?
I remember that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I had my scarf on because I was like doing my hair because I had to get ready for like the finale because I'm sure that day was the finale too that we were filming. So and my hair takes a long time. So I had my scarf on. She comes in and she's just basically like, I said what I said, I did what I did, and then she's trying to talk to me like. Trying to like get me to forgive her, like this, that, and I don't want to hear none of that. So I like go downstairs to the basement, but then I like forgot my towel because I was like doing my hair. So like people thought I was gonna run back up and like punch her in the face. But she thought that too for a second. But I was just getting my towel, and then her and Edmund start going at it because I don't even know what they're going at it about, but because I didn't. All I could was hear it because I was in the basement, like trying to finish my hair because I didn't want to be anywhere near her because I still had a lot of animosity towards her. I don't know about like kind of what happened. And then I hear her and Edmund go at it, but I didn't see like her and Edmund actually go at it until I like saw the footage like afterwards. And I was like, oh, so that's what they were talking about. And then people followed me down to the basement to kind of like talk. And there's footage of that too. I think it was me in the basement with like me, Edmund, Jada, I think like Audrey. We were in the basement just like talking. Derek has the footage if he ever wants to release that footage on his phone of that. But that was.
Do you remember the Destiny's Child comment?
No.
You don't? I don't remember if it was Mona or Edmund, but one of them was like arguing with each other and was like, "You'll always be the Latavia of this group," or something.
Oh yes, I remember that. Yes,
not Latavia.
Yes, I remember that.
The whole room was like,
yes, I do remember that. I think it was Mona. She was like, "You'll always be Latavia," and then she was like, "I'm Beyonce," or something like that. I was like, "What?" Because I wasn't like in the room because I was in the basement when they were going out like that. But when I saw the footage back, I was like, "Ooh, sheesh."
You guys have to ask Derek for it. It's so good.
I'll try because that I love that. I do want to ask Zina, do you think there was anyone's entrance into jury that was as emotional as yours? Just like whether it was like the same sort of emotion as yours or like complete shock or just like anger, anything like that. Like, did anyone match your level of like all that?
Jada did. Because Jada came in right after me. And she wasn't obviously crying later, but she was pissed. Like she looks like she was about to like punch somebody.
Yeah.
And she like was in complete shock. She could not believe what just happened because like that was when like all the cards were played. And I think that was around where Phaedra like voted for herself. So I think that was
believe so, yeah.
And she was just like pissed that's how she went out because it's like she went out on like a really weird twist where there's like 5 different cards were played. She was not expecting to go home that round, and she was just so like it wasn't like emotional per se, but like it was very much like you could like feel it. You feel her energy coming into the house, and it was like, oh, what we were sitting there like, what just happened? Like I had just left. That was dramatic. Jada's coming in. She's looking like she's about to like punch a hole through the wall. Like what's going on? Like, and she was, and that's what she was explaining. I thought also had to do with like her and what Edmund was like saying to her like on the couch, right before she like left the house. And she was kind of pissed about that too, how Edmund was saying that like, oh, like she really didn't deserve to be here because she already had a chance and all that stuff. Because fun fact, I was actually thinking about making Edmund switch. And he was actually one of my contenders for a switch because me and Jada, we voted for Nick to be switched that round. But actually, before Jada came in, I was thinking about people who I wanted to be switched, and I was actually gonna do Edmund. But then when Jada kind of told me what was going on, what went on in the house after she left, I was like, Edmund can't make him switch.
Clearly,
now.
no.
Obviously, it's not gonna happen.
Clearly not going to happen there. Nope.
Yeah, I was like, gotta figure something else out.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt bad for Jada because like I obviously watched her on season 3 as well, and like I feel like she didn't get a fair shake on season 3, and unfortunately I kind of feel like she didn't get a fair shake a little in some ways on season 4 as well. Like she just ended up both times in the wrong place at the wrong time, in the wrong circumstances, and like it didn't work out for her.
Mhm.
Yeah. I was very also sad to see her go because not only was she like my biggest ally on the show, but just in real life, like off camera, she was like the one person that I was like talking to, and we also shared a room, so it made it easier to like be able to connect with her and like see like what she was about. And she was actually really cool, so I was like super sad when she left because then she had to move out of the house and into another one. And I was like, dang, well, now I just lost my friend. So I was like super bored, but yeah.
Yeah. Were there any other eliminations that that truly like impacted y'all, and like even from Zina, from your time in the game itself, like were there any eliminations like truly impacted and you had to like flip a switch kind of and like, what the F am I gonna do with my strategy and whatnot?
Yeah, when freaking John went home. Matt and John, like,
Yeah.
even though I had to vote for Matt, I had to, but I didn't realize that I'm in a group chat with like me, Matt, and John, East Coast Alliance, and Matt was telling me how the votes actually were pretty close during his elimination. I had no clue. If I knew that the votes were so close, I wouldn't have voted for Matt. But every time I went up to somebody in the house, they were like, "Oh, it's definite Matt. It's a definite Matt." So, in my standpoint, I'm like, okay, well, I have to swing majority because I had Mona breathing down my back, and if one thing, she's like, "Up, done." Cause she's finna come for you. So I was like, I can't risk it. Like, she had a lot of pull in the house too, because she can talk. She knows how to talk. And she's a good talker. So I was like, I can't have her trying to swing the opposite way, because at the time, like, I would have rather went with Mona than Matt, because Mona just had more pull in the house than Matt did. So if everybody was saying Matt, then of course I'm just gonna have to say Matt to kind of just like save my own ass and kind of go majority. But apparently it was like it was very close. It was like 1 to 2 votes. We were going through the votes, and it was like 1 to 2. It was like Matt and Phaedra or something like that. Yeah, because that's when he went home. It was between them two. Yeah. And I was like, well, if everybody was just, but I don't think anybody really knew in the house that me and Matt were aligned. Like, people knew me and John were aligned, but they didn't know like me and Matt and John had a thing together, which I didn't want them to know. So I guess in a way, people are, trying to like maybe save Matt by just saying they're voting for him and then throwing a vote on Jada. I don't know, but if I knew the votes were that close, I never would have voted for Matt. And then also John, his votes were close too, because it was like a 6-5-5 or like a 5-4 vote too. So that kind of, because they were part of my other alliance, so that kind of ruined half my game.
And kind of, I feel like ultimately led to why you ended up going sooner than we all would have wished you to.
Honestly, yeah, it definitely did. Because they were probably the most loyal people to me in the house, like 100%. And I knew they were going to have my back, like whatever. And I was going to have their back, like 100%. And they were the people that I could 1,000% trust. And they were never going to do me dirty. And I think other people started catching on to that too. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
I guess I would just say the Robin vote or the Robin switch, just because I was like, damn, Santorina's gonna hate my ass. So I was like, oh, fuck. Do I want them to hate me just so I can like try and win? But I mean, I did it because basically Robin like knew that I was gonna do that. Robin basically wanted me to take power because they were like, it would be dumb if you didn't. So like I had their permission, so it was fine. But it was just like, my one big moment of the season. And I think it could have been really fun if like I picked Save. I feel like that could have been so juicy. But then it like we found out what the twist was. I don't know if you know what it was.
I was gonna ask if we knew what the save card twist was.
The one for the final 5 was like if I saved Robin, then the other 4 of us, the jury would pick which one left. And the jury all told me that it was gonna be either me or Phaedra, like after the show ended. So I probably made the right choice, but yeah. It was like the jury got to pick who left, basically.
Well, and Robin's the kind of player where
I think.
Oh, sorry, Zina, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say I think we all agree it would have been either one of you to go.
Yeah, and I think Robin's the kind of player where like yes, because Robin's done this enough to where like they understand like if it's their time to go, it's their time to go, and like
they just did it to Julia too. So I was like, well,
yeah.
You know.
Phaedra, I take it Jada was probably like the biggest hit was for you, especially like having the connection to her beyond just like the game relationship. But was there anyone else that like kind of impacted you a little bit?
Like game wise, no, because like I said, I did not have a strategy going into this game. My game was to just be myself and play the game. So if like someone that I was aligned with or someone I was close with left, oh, that's very sad, but okay, I still have to play the game. And I just go with the flow. So no, nothing really like impacted me majorly.
Because again, your game is so interesting because you were like, it's difficult in these kinds of games, and like especially if you translate it to like Big Brother, Survivor, like the bigger reality competitions, you see people going being like, I want to play an honest, straightforward game. I want to play exactly who I am, and that's how I'm going to do. And 9 times out of 10, we don't see them do well. So to see you constantly be able to evade elimination just by being yourself, as someone that like obviously is a super fan of all of these things and like plays these games, it's incredibly refreshing to see.
And that's what
Austin,
she wanted.
and I think Austin can attest to that as well, specifically. Zina, I don't know your level of org involvement, if you had any before doing Penthouse, but yeah, it's refreshing to see that sort of gameplay be rewarded.
Yeah, and like I said, like I don't really like watch these types of shows, even like Survivor and Big Brother. Like I've heard of it, I've probably seen like a clip or two, but I don't know how the actual show is ran. Don't kill me. But
nothing wrong with that.
So like I just genuinely didn't. I don't know. I was just being myself, and I didn't see anything wrong with that, or I wasn't like, oh well, they're gonna come for me because la la la. Like no, I was just playing a game.
Sure. Yeah. So we've kind of been hinting at it. Let's just talk about this finale situation because we do have the finalists. We have 2 of them here, which I love. The other one is literally and Austin.
You're done. Anyways.
It's fine. But yes, Phaedra, Austin, and Nathan were the finalists of the season. I think because I remember doing a cast assessment for this, and obviously like the people that I knew, I was like, oh, they're gonna win, absolutely. But I definitely remember pointing out you, Phaedra and Zina, specifically both of you, because I really liked the way that y'all went about your original like cast bio situation. You both stuck out to me as like very, very like interesting characters beyond just the gameplay. And obviously I didn't know how your games would happen, but you both stuck out to me. And then Austin, obviously, because I knew Austin before this. But when we get to the finale, I mean, the big things we have to talk about are the Julia moment and the Audrey moment. So, and there's a couple other ones, but talk me through being in the room where it happened, Hamilton reference, in the room where it happened during this whole situation. Like, how are we feeling? How was it there versus, you know, what we have seen of the finale and everything like that?
Yeah, I think they show literally everything in the episode.
Okay.
But okay, so I love the Audrey and Julia moments and like all of the moments that were like dragging Nathan. Like it was very entertaining. But I was also annoyed because I think I only got asked like one question the whole time, maybe two. So like I had the least amount of time. I mean, Phaedra barely got questions too because they were also Nathan centric. So like me and Phaedra like barely had any time to explain our games like the entire finale. Which I mean, like it was good because everyone was dragging Nathan so much that by the end he like lost votes that probably would have voted for him prior to the finale. But also like me and Phaedra didn't have that much time to like say why we deserve to take the $500. So it was like a pro and con, you know. But
yeah,
Audrey, her speech was so good. She really came for his throat, and I love Nathan, but I really appreciated it. So yeah.
I love them both, and I love them equally for this entire situation that happened.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Audrey's.
Oh.
Oh, you got it.
Are we good?
Good.
You're good.
I was gonna say Audrey's question is what lost me Nate's vote. Like that's her whole, because she had went right before me when we were doing like the interrogation, and that is that's literally why I did not vote for him. Obviously there's other reasons, but that was like the main reason, because I was like, she brings up very good points. I felt like in the interrogation he ran around the question, did not answer it straightforward. And I was like, that you just lost my jury vote right there.
Yeah, and I don't know, because Logan, I don't know what you've seen, but there was a question to Nathan that was like, what's one kind thing you've done for someone in this game? And he could not answer
Audrey's question.
Yeah, it was Audrey's, and he could not answer it. He was like, kindness. And then he just got circled around. Like he could not even he couldn't name one thing. I'm not making football.
And I've seen that time and time again truly like ruin someone's game is like you just be honest. Like there's no reason at that point to not like just be honest and transparent. Because like I cannot say I've made the finale of a game before, unfortunately. I've made it close, but I haven't done it. But like in any sort of final 2, final 3 situation, I don't really like, I will lie, cheat, steal, whatever I need to do to get to the end. But at the end, I'm going to own every single thing I did, because having been a juror so many times, I respect people who are honest and upfront. Like, yeah, I backstabbed you. I did that. I did that to further my game. Like, I would rather hear that than some sort of like roundabout whatever. Like, I don't know. Phaedra, having no context for this whatsoever, how are you feeling in this jury questioning moment? I mean, we know you didn't get a whole lot of time, unfortunately, but what was your perspective of the whole thing?
Okay, so I remember asking, like, I think I was asking Austin and Nate questions because I had never really seen like the entirety of the show before. So I didn't know how the final 3 worked. I didn't know like if we had to write a speech or if we had to like, I didn't really know. So when I was being questioned, I was just going with the flow. And also like behind the scenes, I was studying for my LSAT, my law admission test. So like while everyone else is like over here like worrying about if they're going to go to the next round, I was literally studying. And so during this time, when I was being questioned, like that's why I didn't really mind not being asked questions, because in my head I was literally just trying to memorize key terms that was going to be on the LSAT. So I was fine with not being asked questions. And then when somebody did ask me a question, it threw me off. I was like, oh, okay, like now I have to like go back in game mode. Yeah. So it was just all like so surreal, I guess, to me, because
she's such a queen for that, because like even the round where Edmund was like crying in the bathroom or whatever and Phaedra felt bad, the whole round where everyone's like yelling at each other, she was just sitting on the desk doing her homework for college like the whole time.
I love that.
It was so good. I loved it.
I love that. Oh my god. And Zena, what was it like being a juror in this moment, sort of like reflecting on the whole situation and like all of your lovely jurorness?
Well, I had thought during the jury roundtable that we were kind of on the same page. Like everybody was kind of. So I was shocked when I heard the votes were so split. Actually, the jury roundtable, like, we kind of came to a kind of consensus at the end. We were kind of like on the same page, and the votes being just like split and it was a kind of like a one vote. I was like, oh, I did not know everybody was split on the decision who's gonna win. I actually enjoyed the jury roundtable because it's like you really don't get to talk like with everybody, like kind of like without like what is it, like any type of like what's the word I'm looking for?
Distraction.
Yeah, distraction or anything that's like you like want something from them. So it was like I really enjoyed jury roundtable. And even though people got into a little bit of a tussle during jury roundtable, but that was cleared up real quick.
Did you see the production?
So was that? I wanted to ask Phaedra, was that true? Did production tell you to vote for yourself? Did production tell you to vote for yourself? Was that true?
Okay, so I have been advised not to like discuss it, but what I will say is the reason I voted for myself stands true to the fact that yes, I did hear Edmund crying in the bathroom, and yes, I did feel bad for him, and yes, I wanted to study for my LSAT, like, so I was kind of like, okay, all this together, like, let me just go ahead and vote for myself because, you know, I also felt like there was people there that deserved it more than me. As like weird as it may seem, like I know that may seem like, oh, she doesn't want it that bad, but no, it's not that I don't want it. It's that I genuinely felt like there's other people that deserve it more, and I felt like he was one of those people.
Yeah.
And when I heard him crying, it was just like, dang, okay, so it was all these factors, and I was just like, okay, let me just vote for myself, and that's what happened.
Yeah. No, and that's completely fair. Like there are people that will take that sort of situation as like, why was she even there? Like, why didn't she just self-eliminate? Yada, 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 this, that, and the third. But, like, that genuinely makes sense, again, for your strategy and, like, the way that you go about everything. And, like, honestly, it makes me have more respect for you as a person and as a game player because that, like, it shows, again, exactly who you are and the way that you go about everything in the game and outside of the game. So, I love that. I think it's lovely and wonderful.
It got her his vote at the end too, so it all.
No, yeah.
Yes.
So
I love it.
Like Edmund and Keaton, I was really surprised that they voted for me.
Well, I said this from the beginning that Keaton was the swing vote, and y'all needed like the three finalists needed to target Keaton because he was the swing, and if you could get Keaton's vote, you would win. Like he was like, once I found out everything was split, we were trying to figure out, okay, who might have been a swing vote. And I immediately was like, it had to be Keaton because the way he was talking in the jury house was basically like, he was just kind of like, not really like, I don't care who wins, but you could tell like he could be swayed anyway, Keaton, when it came to like the three finalists, because he didn't have any strong attachment to each of the three finalists. So he was the person to sway the vote. So if you could get him, you would win. And that's exactly what Phaedra did. She got Keaton's vote and she won.
Yeah, he was conflicted up until like the very end. I feel like I wish I knew that. I would have said my biggest regret is that I didn't work with Bestie
Get to interact with Bestie Keaton more. No. Yeah. And he even says it in his confessional. He puts it very, very concisely in a way that only Keaton can. And I have a lot of respect for Keaton. I've played games with Keaton. He's a great individual. And so, like, knowing that he's a swing vote, again, I'm not surprised from an outside perspective, but he puts it very eloquently where he's like, there's a few things that you say that can change my mind. And that's what Phaedra did. Because, you know, we've been bouncing around it. I made you a banner. Phaedra is the winner of season 4. We've kind of been celebrating it the whole time. But yes, in a 4-3 vote, which is wild. completely wild. And Zina, you end up voting for Austin, correct?
Best.
I did vote for
Yes.
Austin.
There was a little bit of your confessional as to why you ended up voting for Austin, but was there anything else that, like, was there one moment that swayed your vote? Was it just like your attachment to Austin? Was it like the whole finale sequence? What was kind of your mindset in that?
Well, it obviously came down to Phaedra and Austin because I loved how they're both generally like played the game. Like I said in my confessional from the beginning, like loyalty is everything to me. Loyalty, I say it again, and that's kind of why one of the reasons I didn't vote for Nathan, it was between them. But the reason I wanted to vote for Austin is because he had such a unconventional win. It was kind of like the zero to hero. And I love unconventional things. I love different, and I love and that's like something that like you've never really seen on like reality TV. It's like someone gets eliminated, they come back and they win. On top of that, like that's something like I've never really seen at all. So I did love his story about that. And then also it's like I felt like if he was even in the game, like between the time that he left, that he would still like be there for me, like even if he was still there. So I took that into account too, like, oh, if he was still in that time frame, like, but like it was kind of like a series of unfortunate events that like we couldn't really work together. Because like he was like in the golden chair when he came back, and then once he came back, I left. And then stuff like that. And then also he's just like an all-around like good person. I just really enjoyed his time there. I really enjoyed meeting him. Of course, he's from Arizona too, so it's like
period.
I was like, why wouldn't I vote for him?
Thank you. No, yeah. If I wasn't in the golden chair that round and Zina picked me, I probably would have saved Zina, honestly. Like, I was thinking that in my head. Because Zina and Robin were my favorites, but it's okay. Well, and Phaedra.
I was gonna say, are we including Phaedra in this? Goodness. Okay.
I every time Robin wanted to send Phaedra home, I was like, I don't want to do that. Phaedra is. I love it. She's too gorgeous.
Yeah, Robin's so funny.
Yeah. Because how many times were you in the bottom 5, Phaedra?
Honestly, probably like the whole game.
I was gonna say, I feel like it was every round.
Yeah, I think so.
I love it.
But I won.
Yes.
I don't know if you know this, but Brett had told me right after like Nathan and Austin won that challenge that we were about to win. We were so close to winning. It was neck and neck between us and them.
Oh no!
Oh, yeah.
Wow, I forgot about that challenge. Yeah, I was wondering like.
And it would have been so
weird. Dang, but if we would have if we won, I probably wouldn't have ended up winning the entire thing. Because that's a whole different path. If we would have won, that's like a whole.
Yeah, if we wouldn't. It's a whole different path. It's crazy. Like one thing can like
change everything.
Change up the whole game.
Truly. Yeah, because at that point it would have been Phaedra, you would have been VIP, right? Or would it have been Zina?
I would have been VIP.
I think
and
Zina.
I would have put Phaedra
there. Yeah. Crazy. Wild craziness.
Yeah. It was like 2 seconds apart.
I got the golden chair instead, you know.
No big deal. It's fine. Yes. Yes. I mean, that's pretty much all I had as far as like things to talk about. I don't know if y'all have anything you want to bring up, discuss, get like an outsider's perspective as someone who just watched the experience and didn't live it. Like, the floor is y'all's to talk about whatever you want.
I mean, there was the reunion, but I feel like we don't have to go over that.
I didn't acknowledge it for a reason.
So true.
I think I said like one word during the reunion.
Yeah, I said like minimum 30 seconds or maximum 30 seconds.
So.
I love it.
I don't remember it.
But no, I'm a Phaedra defender. I think if I wasn't gonna win, I wanted it to be her because like just the whole season was so like chaotic and crazy, and it was people just being like so rude to each other the whole time. So for like the one girl who was just like trying to be herself,
who was like
literally Phaedra was the only person in the whole cast who was like completely like honest, transparent, open. And so I think that's why everyone voted for her. Like it was just so refreshing compared to every other cast member and like how they were playing.
Mhm.
And like I feel like she deserved it for that reason. And like you can even tell like based on like because like Keaton, for example, like he's such like a game bot, like he cares so much about strategy. So for him to vote for Phaedra, I think shows a lot about like
Gag.
why she deserves to win. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's so funny because I literally was thinking like that you were gonna win. Like as we were all sitting there, I was like, okay, like Austin has this in the bag. Like I did not think it was a matter of question. Not only that, but kind of like what you were saying earlier is like even off the game, like before Austin was eliminated, he was still like really cool, and I felt like whenever I was around him, he just gave off this really positive aura. So like being around him kind of was just like, okay, well, we're in this together. Like I'm not crazy like these other people are crazy. And just being here with him just was like an eye opener.
Yeah, like even after the finale, like because we had that like party.
Oh
thing,
yeah.
and then
yeah.
everyone was like going like doing a lot of stuff, and me and Phaedra were just talking shit on the couch.
Yeah.
We were on the couch the whole time. Mind
Yeah,
you,
we were
it was
playing-
also freezing cold. So like I was in a blanket wrapped up on the couch.
Good times, good
Yeah.
vibes.
Mhm.
Fun vibes.
Yeah, and
That was the last
Josh-
time the whole shoot got along.
yeah, it was the last
Was
time
that
everyone got
party.
along. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the very last time.
Like,
No comment. I'm just an outsider. No comment.
You think after the 5 months things will get better, or
No.
like people will not care as much?
No.
That's not the
but
case.
as time went, everything got worse.
It actually got so much worse. Yeah.
For no reason. I mean, I guess there was just a lot going on, and yeah, it was that part I didn't really like. It's sad, you know, like when you see like a production, especially one like the Penthouse, it literally came from nothing. You build it up, you work so hard on it, and then it just turns into this. It's really sad, but I guess that's life.
Perfectly put.
It truly
I
is.
guess that's life.
Honestly.
I mean,
Truly that.
Very messy. And I'm very not a messy person, so it was very difficult for me to navigate all this because I'm very much I like to keep my hands off messiness. It's just not my style. I'm very chilled back. So
me and
being a
Zina
messy
will
drama is
me and Zina will share information with each other and then leave it at that.
Sure.
we'll have our sushi date to get it all out, and then
Yes,
It'll be
Phaedra,
done
when
there.
you can join the
let's have
sushi
sushi
date.
together.
I know, I love sushi.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm an
that's
hour
why you can come to
south.
Arizona. We can.
I'm literally an hour south. I'll come up.
Yes, have a party.
Yes.
Me and Zina are the number one.
There's
Oh.
this one sushi place.
Yep.
Yes. We
Wait,
get it
what
all the
sushi
time.
place?
We go to this place downtown. It's called Harumi Sushi and Sake. I just went there for my birthday. Went there for birthday dinner.
Oh yeah, that
So
looked
good.
nice.
I've been there. Mm-hmm.
So
It's good.
Yes.
So good.
You guys
So
can
good.
come with us.
Yes.
Okay, bet. I'm
Period,
down.
period. Yes. And as Phaedra called an unexpected win, that was, I think, my favorite moment of the whole season. I'm not gonna lie to you, Phaedra. Just
Yeah.
the moment of realization. Beautiful, lovely. Congratulations to you on your win. Well deserved.
The
Austin,
twerking thing.
bestie from first boot to last boot. Beautiful, beautiful story. And Zina robbed too soon.
So true.
Robbed
it's okay.
too soon.
No hurt feelings anymore. Got all the crying out when I was in the house.
Phaedra, you have to
Good.
close this
Okay,
out.
but I'm
with the
really
twerking
happy that Phaedra
Well,
and
with-
Austin
What?
were the finalists.
What'd you say?
Thank you, Zina.
I said,
I said
I'm really
Phaedra,
happy
you have
Phaedra
to-
and Austin were the
Oh. The way the audio is like that.
I know.
All right.
I was saying, Phaedra, you have to close us out with the twerking scene.
Oh. Okay, listen. I literally did not think that like I had to show the lower half of me, so my pants are non-existent.
Oh, never mind.
Oh,
Girl, it is all good.
So, but
Don't you even worry.
That was my favorite part of the finale when she was like dancing and everyone was like cheering her on. And I was like,
Yeah.
I know, and that wasn't even my best twerking video.
check out her.
Where's the footage? I want to see it.
I will send it to you.
Yes.
On my OnlyFans.
Ooh.
I don't have OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Just
No kidding.
I don't have one yet.
That part.
Yeah, not yet.
yeah.
We keep our options open here.
Right.
You know, that's what we do. It's what we do. But
Inflation's going up, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Truly that.
You gotta get it where you gotta get it.
Right.
No different.
Right.
And on that note, I feel like that's the perfect note to end on. Oh my goodness. All besties, thank you so much for joining us for as chaotic of a video as the season was. Honestly, but I appreciate all of you taking time out of your schedules to join us to close this chapter of this journey. And I want to thank everybody watching for joining us for our coverage of the Penthouse Season 4. We do a lot of other coverage of reality TV and everything in between. So make sure to subscribe, follow all of these lovely, beautiful humans on Instagram, follow us on Twitter. All of the links will be available below as well. So make sure to check us out. And with that, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a great night.
Slay.